Welcome back to the Big Fish Theory, and this Sunday we're going to the hallowed turf of Wembley and we're playing host to a modern day classic. It's FA Cup semi-final, Leeds-Chelsea. For us, it's an historic return to the stage for first time since 1987, fueled by a proper resurgence under Daniel Farke. For Chelsea, it's fucking chaos. After parting ways with manager Liam Rossini just days ago, following, I think, in league, a string of 7 straight defeats, and in between that, they beat Port Vale. So that's great. And they've got Callum McFarlane, who's caretaker manager. He had one game before, I think. I think it was Man City and they drew. So Callum McFarlane, under 21s managers in charge. We are the draw specialists. And Chelsea's, they're a side in transition. They don't run, they don't move. They've lost, like I said, they've lost last 7 on trot in league. And we're in very good stead at the moment. We're playing well. We're looking strong. We nicked one against Bournemouth just to get a draw. We're safe. We can do what we want. It was a 1-1 draw that Callum McFarlane took over. We've drawn 13 games this season. It's a big ground. It's a big pitch. Takes a lot of energy out of you. And realistically, I'm just looking forward to getting into it. So, hello, Jordan. What are you thinking?
Excited, man. I'm excited. I haven't got a fucking clue who Callum McFarlane is. I know he's their interim manager. I don't know.
Under 21s coach. Only time I remember him is because he took over when they played City and they drew 1 apiece.
I don't know shit about this guy. But the
fact
that I haven't heard of him, it could be a blessing or a curse, but I'm not too worried about Sunday. Like, I just want to see Leeds just go at them because I think they can beat them. And I'm just excited for the day out, to be honest, and the fact that we're at an FA Cup semi-final. Honestly, it's not like, it doesn't feel to me personally the same way a playoff final does. You know, I'm going to enjoy the day. And I want to see us go at them because, like I mentioned on the last podcast, I think mentality is everything. And then players haven't got the mentality that Leeds have. They've got better quality, naturally, because they've got over £1 billion squad. But mentality counts for a lot. And that's been proven time and time again this season in so many occasions. And yeah, I just want to see them go out and just watch a good game of football and you know, stick it to them because we're almost safe in the league. I mean, you could argue we are, but I'm talking about mathematically. And I think that we've set ourselves up in the league in a really, really good position to just not give a fuck and just hit them as hard as we can. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing a couple of players leave the boots and just let them know they're in a game. And I hope we play like that because I don't like Chelsea. None of us do. And it'd be nice to see that. So we'll see what happens, but I'm excited for it, bro.
Yeah. Jacoby will definitely leave a boot on some twat. I don't know if João Pedro will be playing because he's been injured for about 2 weeks. And how are you feeling about it, Father? Are you feeling positive? Are you feeling energetic? Are you feeling fucking great?
I'm looking forward to it, son. I think we all are. I was talking to Sean an hour ago, and we're all in the same boat now. I was talking to Jeff earlier. We're all just looking forward to it. You know, it's been a long time. I just what our Jordan says there. I just want us to go to Wembley. We haven't performed at Wembley since '92 when we went to Charity Shield. We just, I don't know why, we just seem to go there, and you know, and as cup record against Chelsea's crap. Let's be totally honest. You know, I mean, we should have won it. But we didn't. You know, we should have won them in 1917. We didn't, and blah, 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 and all that lot. So we owe them. And I genuinely, I think we're playing them at right time. I wish they'd not got rid of the manager. But I'm just really looking for... I mean, Chelsea, you know, it's an old enemy. We're a place when I was a kid you didn't like going down to. You went down in numbers because if you didn't get down in numbers, you didn't come back. It was a tough place to go. You know, that's, you know, 70s and 80s, following Leeds, going down to Chelsea meant something. It really meant something. And I think this now has caught that imagination. It's not just a cup game, it's a semi-final. You know, it takes us to final if we get through. So it means a lot, really. And I think it means a lot to Chelsea fans. I mean, they've had a shit season, let's be totally honest. It started off well and then kind of petered in middle and then it's got worse. So I think we're in form. I think what we've said before about Fark, I think there's one thing. I think we've got that togetherness, which squad you see it every time, and that comes with right players, basically. And I think what's happened to Chelsea is, they buy these players, these owners and whatever they are that buy them and say, right, there you are. And it don't, I don't think it don't work, really. It don't work. Managers got to manage. And I think Fark has done that with players.
Yeah. Also, we were all a little bit concerned at the beginning of the season of exactly how we had recruited, but it turned out we found some absolute pearlers in your Anton Stark and your Jacoby All. We're thinking, great. And then James Justin as a backup and Bornau as a backup. James Justin turns out that, he could be having, his name on back at shirt on Sunday, in all fairness, and nobody would be against that. And Bornau is a very capable player coming in as he has to. Goodmanson, mwah. What a signing. New manager bounce, Jordan, versus, I'd say, like, defensive discipline. With Callum McFarlane taking over, obviously, just yesterday, do you think we'll see Chelsea revert to a safety-first sort of low block to stop the bleeding? Or do you think he'll try and exploit that individual quality that, obviously they scored 7 against Port Vale, but we're no Port Vale. But I do think if you try and defend at Wembley with the size of the pitch, you very easily can succeed in doing that and taking some steam out of the game.
Yeah, it's difficult because, like I said, I haven't got a frigging clue about this guy. So I don't know how he typically sets up or anything like that. But what I would say with them is, for me, there's more at stake for them because of the season that they've had and the expectation on them. So I think if they're not attacking, their fans very, very quick to get on the back. Very quick. And if the game doesn't go their way, again, their fans are going to be very quick to get on their back, which obviously works in our favour. So I don't know. I don't know, because they have been very, very poor defensively, and Leeds have managed to go from not scoring any goals to bagging a few, So I don't know. I really don't know how the game's going to pan out, solely because I have no idea about this new manager. I don't know what he's like. What I do worry about, to an extent, is when these players want a manager out, they stop playing for him completely. And I think that either works in one or two ways now that they've got rid of Rossini. They either start playing, or instantly they're thinking, who's this under-21s guy? Well, obviously they'll know him because he's in the setup, but why is he managing us? And they'll reject him. So I think so much comes down to these childlike mindset of these high-paid players. Are they going to play for him, or are they going to spit their dummy out because they haven't gone and got a higher caliber of manager? And I know he's only just been sacked, but you don't know what some of these players expect, because, like I say, the mindset-wise, they're like bloody children. They spit the dummy out constantly, and I really do think that has a factor in it.
There's also a chance, I think, Esteval's injured, Cole Palmer's injured.
They've got a young
Reece
side
James
as
is
well.
injured.
Yeah, they've got a very young side. I think as well that also leads more to, can you put your foot in them? Because they won't want it. They won't want it. They've got a young side, and I think this is the problem with modern football, but that's an entirely different rabbit hole. When you're giving a 19-year-old like Esteval, I don't know, 350 grand a week, it's insane, isn't it? But that's the way football's gone.
It doesn't breed strong mentality. So, Father, we'll not do draw, because let's be honest, we were pretty lucky we outcome of that. But when we beat them in December, we beat them 3-1. We dominated those transitions. Do you remember the game, yeah?
Yeah, of course I did. We were there, yeah.
Right. So we dominated them transitions with that double pivot, and we kind of like stifled Chelsea's creative outlets, because they are individual creativity players, Do you think that they'll manage to find a way to occupy those half spaces? That's what caused us trouble in that 2-2. So difference were when we had that double pivot, because obviously we went to 4-4-2 against in last 20 minutes against Bournemouth. When we had that double pivot, it gives us that chance to expand. Do you feel like they've still got that ability to snuff us out?
I do, but I also think, if we can get down wings, we've got. Okafor's. He's going to be up for it. Okafor. Well, they're all going to be up for it. Use them wings. Get balls into box for Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin's playing well. He scored that penalty. He didn't play that bad yesterday, actually. He was a bit isolated, but he put a good shift in. Get balls down box. Same as you've just said. Wembley's a big pitch, right? That gives a lot of room for wingers to get down. Both sides. Non-toe come on yesterday. Looked really good. Okafor wasn't outstanding. It was a bit of a funny game yesterday, but get the balls into the box. Get into them. At home, played really well. Used a bit of width, got balls into the box. Good result. Away from home, we were a little bit, not defensive, but a bit naive. Got back into the game with that penalty, didn't we?
Yeah.
And, yeah, I totally accept your point that Wembley's a huge pitch. That can play into our hands, I think. Which style of football we play. You look at that Man U game the other day. That first half, 1.5. Bang, bang, down, Okafor, brilliant. That's what we need. And yet, I think it's doable. Yeah, their side on paper is a better side than us. There's no ifs and buts about it. But going back to what you said earlier, at the beginning of the season, James Justin, no chance. Wow. Aronson, under a lot of pressure from supporters, me included. You know what I think about people that don't want to play for Leeds. Right? Me included. He's turned his season round. He's getting a song out to virtually every player. Darlow, we're going on about goalkeepers. Darlow's, I was listening to Don't Go to Bed Just Yet, and he made a good point there. We tie Darlow down to another contract. Nah, that's going to save us 20 million quid. And if you're under financial restraints, you're only allowed to pay 120. Why go out and pay pay 20 or 30 million for a goalkeeper that we don't need? Because he's getting tunes out of players. I didn't think he'd get tunes out of, to be told. Calvert-Lewin, everybody laughed when he signed. Now Calvert-Lewin has got 11 goals this season at league, right? I think it's 11, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's 11 at Premiership he's got, right?
12.
So, but 12 is it? So who would have thought that, William? Who would have thought that? But not only that, his contribution, and he's not being injured. As everybody thought, he'll get injured, he'll not see it season out. He's missed odd game. We've got a tune out to a lot of players.
You've got to say that definitely medically, for a while now, we've been very good. We get players back quicker than most. What I would say on your earlier point, the way I see us beating Chelsea, and obviously I always see us beating everybody, but the way I see us beating Chelsea is down the flanks, balls in the box, because not only is there frailty in that position, they've conceded, I think, when I was checking, I think they've conceded 11 goals in 5 games, and I think most of those were balls into box down flanks, and now you've got Colwill and James will both be injured. So there's a possibility James comes back for Sunday, but either way, he's just coming back from injury. So that overlapping Bogle, if Bogle's, Bogle is all right. Stack's not going to feature, bit sounds of it. And I think that if we are going to beat them, that's certainly the way that we're going to do it. They struggle to track runners, and especially when you've got 2 runners, you've got Okafor getting overlapped with Goodmanson as he's holding ball up. I think they're in trouble there, Chelsea. For you, Jordan, and obviously we've been drawing. I don't like to bring it up because we all hate it, but not only have we been drawing a shit ton of games this season, but, if it does go to 120 minutes and we do draw, right, how do you feel about, obviously they've got far superior playing abilities. How do you feel about their individual quality in a shootout? Do you think that outweighs that psychological sort of momentum, or does it carry us as underdogs as we have got through a few shootouts recently?
No, I think it carries you as underdogs. I think I think these players are so mentally frail. I really do. You look at a Man City, right, who have spent roughly the same amount. There's a huge difference. This is the level of 4th, 5th, and the top of the league, right? It's like they have such a mentality where they go out and beat Arsenal, and that's because of the culture that Pep Guardiola has instilled into those players over the last 10 years. Well, not those players, but the teams is built over the last 10 years. Chelsea don't have that. They're mentally frail. They sign players on 9-year contracts who just, I think my father's made the point that why would they play so hard when they know they're getting paid for the next 9 years? It's a valid point. And I think they're making so many mistakes fundamentally from an ownership level. And yeah, if it goes to a shootout, I'm here for it, man. I'm not worried. Like I say, I'm just going to go and enjoy the game, and I think the pressure could be really, really ramped up on them. I just want to make a point as well about in terms of attacking them via the flanks. Yeah, they're defensively weak as well, which I think is all the more reason to just go for it. I view this game as a completely free hit, and I just want to see us go for it, leave the boots in, and just charge them, to be honest. Now, obviously, you've got to be conservative to an extent, right? There's going to be times in the game that naturally, when you're playing against teams like this, you are going to have to defend. I'm not saying let's go all out and try and smash them 5-0 or anything like that. But I'm not saying Bielsa it, right? Let's not try and do a Bielsa. But I do think that they're there to be got at. And I think with the players that we have, we're more than capable of inflicting damage on them. I really.
So you've got difference of, it depends who does start, but you've got difference of dealing with their attacking outlets as no Cole Palmer, no João Pedro, possibly João Pedro, but otherwise
Cole Palmer out?
It's but otherwise it's Liam Delap. You know, like Caicedo, Fernandes, Cucurella. Cucurella, I fucking hate Cucurella. Like, he does my tits in. But do you think, for you, Father, biggest concern I've got, is that Wembley's massive pitch. We all seen it. We've seen us struggle physically. You know, it just drains players. And in that same instance, two of the players that have really, sort of shone in the last few days that will probably start would be Tanaka and Okafor. And because they can't see 70 minutes, Wembley's a big, heavy pitch. They might not see 50 minutes, 60 minutes out. And I start to concern myself a little bit of that maybe it's better to bring them on than it is to start them.
No, I'd start them.
Yeah.
I'd start them. I certainly, I mean, I don't see how you can see each side, to be totally honest, at present. I mean, Tanaka had a good game. The only worry I have is if you look at that Bournemouth game yesterday, they scored 3 times, didn't they? I mean, one were obviously offside, just be his shirt sleeve. But they all came similar, straight through middle. We defended really well from corners and these throw-ins. We won everything. You know, they were excellent at back. But we were very vulnerable, you know, to balls down middle, players taking us on and going through into the box. Every goal they scored, including the offside one, were very similar, actually. I worry about that because, obviously, Wembley's a big pitch. They have got a bit of pace. But no, I'd play exactly the same side. And unless injuries, obviously. Bogle, Bogle had a bit of a funny first half, didn't he? You know, against Bournemouth. What, he carried an injury before?
He also got that injury, didn't he?
He took him off at half time.
He did take a knock. If you remember, Ampadu took him out.
I did. Yes, he did. Of course he did. But
he did, yeah.
Up to then, he won't have been a brilliant game, were he? But
don't get me wrong.
Wait. I'm looking forward to it, son. I really am. I mean, this is old school for me. Don't forget, we were down in lower leagues for plumbing heck. Well, majority of our lives, we've been shit.
Yeah, this is my entire season ticket time. The 20 years of me going, were mostly League One and Championship, and then everybody's like, you were down for 20 years. I'm like, I can't really remember being fucking up, to be honest with you.
No, that's it. I mean, us,
certainly can't remember being up. Like, at least I saw us play Real Madrid and such, and I saw us beat Besiktas and all that. Like, Jordan, it was just shit from off.
But the first season I remember, like, literally have recollection of, like, real recollection was I remember the game where we got relegated against Ipswich. And you ran on the pitch, bro, and left me as a kid.
For good reason, there.
We were trying to get match abandoned. Yeah, I regret that now, but because it didn't work.
It was the point. It's like it's 20 years ago, right? But
because it worked in 80s with my dad, they were passing tickets around and he told me about it, and I thought, that's a fucking brilliant idea, that, if we're going to get relegated. So I got on the pitch and then everybody were fighting, and I ended up on Look North. And
for anybody watching, I was sat with my brother here in the middle of the screen, the host of this podcast, and my cousin, just us two. I was probably 10 years old, and they both left Mitterrand on the pitch in a stadium of 40,000 people where they was chucking coins at Ipswich fans and shit. Like, this was just as surveillance was getting installed, right? So there was those elements of aggression there that you might not see so much today for fear of being caught and arrested.
Yeah, but I didn't hurt nobody. I was just trying to get match
I
abandoned.
know,
I
I
didn't
didn't
throw
say
no
that.
coins at nobody like that. And you know, our young as well. Yeah, I'm pissed. So should we do a quick overview? We'll do it from front to back because I think where we'll disagree will be back more than front. So we'll just do one word answers. Who do you start as striker? I'd start Calvert-Lewin. Jordan? Dad?
Without a doubt, yeah.
Left wing?
Before.
Okafor.
You've got to play Okafor.
Right wing.
I want to say Nanto,
Aarons.
but I is going to go with Aronson, innit?
He'll go Aronson. A lot of energy though. To be fair, you might need that at Wembley.
I thought Nanto did really well when he came on. But he's not going to drop
So
Aronson.
that centre.
He loves Aronson.
Go on. Yeah, he
his
does.
love
But he's got that energy that'd be required for that sort of game. But you've got then, for me, Tanaka
midfield.
and then Ampadu. Yeah, Tanaka will be moving forward. Obviously, Ankadu's more your anchor. I mean, how are you two thinking about that?
Exactly the same.
I
wouldn't change
it,
anything.
Ad. Said it beginning. I know it's quite simplistic, but at present, I won't change it. Tanaka's come in and he's played quite well. Obviously, Stack's injured. Stack could be a shoo-in, but he's injured. So Tanaka's proved himself last couple of. I know he get ball away for penalty, but he's proved himself. So yeah, obviously.
Yeah. So then, left back's Gabby Goodmanson, obviously, no matter what. Centre left back is Strike, right? Mid centre will be Jacobiol. Nah. Do you play Justin or Rodon, or do you play Justin as right back and drop Bogle? Which one of those three players who starts?
I would play Justin over Rodon because I think, honestly, and I don't blame Rodon for this because he's just coming back from injury, but I think he struggled last night. He didn't really get into the game and he left a lot of pockets of space. Justin's got momentum on his side. Like my father said, like, we all looked at Justin and thought 10 million signing, like, what are we doing him? Fair play to the 49ers. I've definitely criticised them over the past, but they made a good call with that because I was like, why are we signing him for 10 million? But he's been fantastic and he's been a player, like you said, you would not blink an eyelid if he was in that lineup. And he'd deserve it. He's played fantastic. But I would play Bogle on the right. I'd play Justin as the right centre back, and Rodon can be there on the bench for me personally.
What about you, love?
I think it's a big call, lad, with Rodon. I mean, Rodon's never let Leeds down. He's been excellent. Let's be totally honest. He's just a proper Welsh warrior, lad, isn't he? So that's a big call. That's a big call for Fark. He didn't play particularly well when he came on. I can't see him rushing him back because he wouldn't have done that. But he does make some good runs as well. Don't forget, Rodon. He's not. It's a difficult call. I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, it'd be really bad to drop Justin after how he's played. But I don't know. Yeah. Now I think you've got to go into the game. Played against Man U, played against Wolves, and played last night.
I'd start Justin over Bogle, and I'd put Rodon in. And reason being is because he's the only defender. Like you saw it at beginning, throughout game, that recovery pace as a centre back we miss. Pascal Strike, don't get me wrong, absolute man of match for me. Absolute won every header, won every defensive challenge. But for that recovery pace, when you get them through balls coming through and deep balls coming through, which you will do as they probably play that four-man midfield and stretch you need that recovery pace from Rodon. That being said, he didn't look right sharp when he played. But one thing I will say with Rodon is he's injured. He comes back 3 days later, and if he's a little bit rusty yesterday, that means he'll be tip-top shape by Sunday, no problem. He'll be ready to, to run a marathon. And I think reason you can have Bogle to come on later is because players will be knackered. Players will be knackered. Same for Chelsea and all. And if you can bring on an explosive right back, you can even play him as that right wing. And then at that point, you can move Aronson to mid, depending on how he's running, and put Nonto on. You've suddenly got that connection. And we saw it at the beginning of the season when we saw Nonto and Bogle play together. They were wonderful. They had a real sort of understanding, this little interplay, and then poof, they were off. But I think you'll miss that recovery pace, and you need a little bit of that leadership. This is a massive, massive game. You need your Biols, your Ampadus, your Rodons on pitch because they've got that mentality, that fucking watch it, sunshine, get your head in game mentality. Do you know what I mean?
I agree with that. I think the thing is, the point as well you've made with Wembley being so big, I think Aronson will be knackered second half, and probably 60 minutes into second half. So and obviously Justin, he could play right back. So it might be took out of Fark's hands because don't forget he was injured and he might still have got a bruise or a knock come. We're only 3 days. So it might be took out of his hands anyway. Bogle might be on bench. I just think it's a big call to not play Rodon,
Okay.
But we'll see. But I do think subs will make a huge difference on Sunday. They did yesterday, but I think more so because it's such a big pitch. Aronson runs his ass off, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So I think we're making subs. We'll not be waiting till 70th minute, put it that road.
It's an heavy pitch as well, as when I remember from, obviously, all playoff finals we've lost in Coca-Cola Cup final. I remember interviews, and it's an heavy pitch. Like, it really takes it out of your legs. So then with Geordie, do you want to go to an FA Cup final? And if so, do you start Carl Darlow?
Do I want to? Oh, yeah. So I see what you're saying. So you're saying, should we continue to play Perry?
Yeah.
That's a tough call. That's a tough call for Fark.
I know they didn't get the goal, but that header really wound me up because he was in his area still. I just could not conceive what was going on.
It's a difficult call because you've got Leeds who are all but safe now. I think we need to go out and beat Burnley, but that's another story. But you've got Leeds who are all but safe now. Perry's made the mistakes, but also has been the mainstay goalkeeper for the FA Cup specifically. Listen, this is why Daniel Fark's paid 80 grand a week, and I'm not. I don't know if he is on 80 grand a week, but he's on more than me. I know that much, and that's why. So that's his call.
I've got a pressure on an answer. Otherwise, right? Because I listen to some podcasts, and it pisses me off when somebody's like,
fair enough.
Yeah, but I'm not a manager, and I'm like, the fuck am I listening for then? Come on,
drop him then. Yeah, drop him. Okay, be ruthless. You talk about Premier League teams being ruthless and stuff like that. Darlow's been fantastic. Perry gave us all a heart attack situation when, I don't know how my dad's still here, to be honest, but that's, when he headed that ball and Tati Castellanos that put it in the net, and luckily it was disallowed.
He did also save from Castellanos as well, like right down low.
He made that really good save at the start. I thought that was from Matias Fernandes, but whoever it was from, it was a really good save. Yeah, if you want to push me for an answer, I'll say drop him, but I don't. I'm not. If you're asking me if he should be dropped, maybe. If you're asking me, will he drop him? I don't think he will. I think he'll maintain the consistency of what he's done in the FA Cup.
So Jordan's just dropped him, father, and in that situation, you've just upset that squad mentality that you were speaking about that Farke works so hard to achieve and has achieved. So, like, obviously, none of us think that Darlow will start and Perry won't start. What I'm asking is, do you think he should? Because there's that balance there, but at the same time,
I think so.
You've already dropped your number one keeper, and Darlow's coming for second.
I think he should start. Yeah, I think the thing is as well, what I'll say, is we've heard a few rumblings about him leaving and other clubs looking at him. Maybe there's a bit more to that than we know, which might have a a guidance on whether he plays or not. You know, if he is going to leave, we don't know, do we? I'm not, you know, but these rumours out there that clubs are looking at him. And if he is going to leave, then they don't play him. But no, I play him. I think you've got to play him. I mean, I know I said don't change side, but I think Darlow's one of the most improved players we've had this season. We were struggling for goalkeepers, and he's come in. But I think our Jordan's hit something right there. That squad mentality. Keep him in. Let's keep him in, you know, and keep Darlow on bench. We do get 5 substitutes, so we can fierce shit.
He's pretty good at penalties and all, isn't he?
Yes, yeah.
So
he's not let us down
we'll
at FA Cup.
Oh. No, but we'll do a quick score prediction then, and we'll all put a quid on it this time.
You what? I've got a rate for last twice.
No, you haven't.
About? Yeah, I fucking have. I said 3-0 against Wolves and we draw against Bournemouth.
I had 2
I'm not going through this argument again, right? If you
so what you do is when he gets score rate, Geordie, he gets score rate, he counts it as score. But if he gets result rate, he also counts that as well. Right, score prediction. And if score's not right, you don't win. Score prediction, go.
Well, first of all, you two should do more arguing because I think that'll bring more viewers in. Do it at the start of the podcast.
No, let's argue, all 3 of us. That's why we never sat together at football. The season tickets were all over the place. They still are. Me and you, Jordan, we don't sit together. You know, we both have a heart attack. We don't agree on out football-wise, except for we all love Leeds.
Look, I'm the passion, you're the old man inside, and he's the stability. Don't wind him up. Right, go on then, son. What's your prediction?
I've fucking chilled me, bro.
He's stoned again, isn't he?
Me? I don't smoke, bro. I don't smoke.
You're the
one in Holland. You're the one in Holland. It's you that should be fucking stoned, not me.
Right, go on then. Predict.
Right. I'm going to go 2-1. I'm going to go Calvert-Lewin first scorer, and he's going to bang it in with his head. Cross from Okafor. Right. Calvert-Lewin, one of those salmon-like headers, top corner, first goal, 2-1.
Right, and I'm going to say, right, because I've been right last twice, I said we'd draw and we'd win 3-0. So basically, if you'd have £1,000 on us winning 3-0 and put that 10 grand that you'd have won on that on us drawing, you'd have been laughing. But I am going Aronson first goal, and I think Leeds, it'll be home result 3-1.
Fair enough. And I'm going 7-6 on penalties. I think it'll be one apiece going into penalties, and penalties will go on.
That's why you've got the money, son.
I'm not actually going to put that down as a bet, but I might put down
right. Just hold it. You've just had me and our Jordan for not getting it score. What's score going to be on there? Is it going to be 0 apiece? Is it going to be 1 apiece, or 2 apiece, or 3 apiece?
Right, yeah, 1-1.
Well, thank you.
And then penalties take 1 more than the amount of penalties.
And who scores his goal then?
Calvert-Lewin. Header.
So, are you having a bet on this? You know, I would like you to win before the season finishes.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have Leeds to go through on penalties.
Right.
This is why.
Obviously, this is why it's going to be a long day for all Leeds fans down here, then, isn't it? If it goes to bleeding extra time and I mean, that pisses me off. Chelsea fans will be home about A5. Be fucking A11 by the time we get home.
But not just that. Let's be honest. Half of his games in cups have gone to penalties so far. So realistically, it's more likely than a win or a loss. You know.
No.
I think they'll be fighting on Sunday as well.
Fingers crossed, and we'll see you all down at Wembley, everybody.
All right, and we'll just have a quick
have a good day.
All right, see you later, loves.
See you later.
Have a good one. Wait, don't forget to like and subscribe.
The Big Fish Theory, a Leeds United podcast.